The first time Isabella Moretti saw Ava Parker, she was covered in coffee. And that single moment changed everything. The rain poured relentlessly over Manhattan. Cars splashed through puddles. Pedestrians hurried beneath umbrellas. Inside a small corner cafe, Ava Parker was having the worst day of her life. Her rent was overdue. Her landlord was threatening eviction. Her younger sister's medical bills kept growing. And 5 minutes earlier, she had been fired. Again. Ava sighed as she wiped down tables. Technically, she wasn't supposed to be working anymore. But her manager had allowed her to finish the shift. One last day, he had said. Ava needed every dollar she could get. The bell above the cafe door rang. Nobody paid attention. At first. Then silence spread across the room. One customer stopped talking. Another lowered his phone. Even the manager suddenly stood straighter. Ava looked up. And saw her. A woman stepped inside. Tall. Elegant. Terrifyingly beautiful. Black coat. Black gloves. Black heels. Everything about her screamed power. The entire cafe seemed smaller around her. People moved aside instinctively. Nobody knew her name. At least not officially. But everyone knew the rumors. Isabella Moretti. The Queen of Manhattan. The woman who supposedly controlled half the city from the shadows. Businesswoman. Philanthropist. Billionaire. And according to countless whispers, mafia leader. Ava thought the stories were ridiculous. Until she saw the bodyguards. 4 of them. Waiting outside. Watching everything. The woman walked calmly toward the counter. Ava immediately looked away. Not her problem. Just another rich customer. She grabbed a tray and turned. Crash. Coffee exploded everywhere. The tray slipped. The cup flew. And an entire latte landed directly on Isabella Moretti's coat. The cafe froze. Complete silence. Ava stared in horror. No. The cup rolled across the floor. No, 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 no. The manager nearly fainted. One bodyguard reached inside his jacket. Ava suddenly understood she had made a terrible mistake. A very terrible mistake. She looked up. Isabella stared at the coffee stain. Then at Ava. Her expression unreadable. Cold. Dangerously cold. Ava swallowed. I'm so sorry. No response. I'm really, really sorry. Still nothing. The manager rushed over. Miss Moretti, we deeply apologize. Isabella raised one finger. The manager stopped talking instantly. The room became even quieter. Ava's heart hammered. Then something unexpected happened. Isabella smiled. Not a warm smile. Not a friendly smile. But definitely a smile. It's only coffee. The entire cafe looked shocked. The bodyguards looked shocked. Even Ava looked shocked. Nobody expected that reaction. Especially not Isabella herself. Because for some reason, she couldn't stop looking at Ava. Green eyes. Messy brown hair. Coffee-stained apron. Nothing special. Nothing remarkable. Nothing like the women Isabella usually noticed. And yet, something felt different. Dangerously different. What's your name? Isabella asked. Ava blinked. Ava. The smile returned. Ava. The way she said it made Ava nervous. Very nervous. Then Isabella reached into her purse, pulled out a card, and placed it on the counter. If you're looking for work. Ava stared. The card contained only a name. And a phone number. Nothing else. By the time she looked up again, Isabella was gone. Standing outside beneath the rain. Watching her through the glass. For just a moment. Then the black cars disappeared into the night. Ava looked down at the card. And unknowingly made the biggest mistake of her life. Because 3 blocks away, inside a luxury penthouse overlooking the city, Another woman was staring at a photograph. A photograph of Ava Parker. A woman Ava had never met. A woman who had spent 3 years searching for her. And when she learned Isabella Moretti had found Ava first, she smiled. A dangerous smile. Because she wasn't interested in love. She was interested in revenge. And Ava Parker had just become the center of a war she didn't even know existed. Ava Parker spent the entire night staring at the business card. One simple card. One phone number. And yet it felt heavier than anything she'd ever held. Outside her tiny apartment, rain tapped against the window. Inside, overdue bills covered the kitchen table. Rent, electricity, hospital expenses. Every reminder of how badly her life was falling apart. Her younger sister Lily sat quietly on the couch, still thinking about it. Lily asked. Ava sighed. You have no idea. Lily grabbed the card. Her eyes widened. Wait. What? Isn't this Isabella Moretti? Ava nodded. Lily nearly dropped the card. The Isabella Moretti. Apparently. The billionaire. Apparently. The one everyone thinks is secretly a mafia queen. Ava rolled her eyes. People say stupid things. Lily looked unconvinced. Ava, normal billionaires don't travel with armed bodyguards. Ava didn't have a response for that. Because deep down, she had been wondering the same thing. The next morning Ava finally called. The phone rang once. Twice. Then someone answered. Miss Parker. Ava froze. It wasn't a question. Whoever answered already knew who she was. This is Ava. We know. A chill ran down her spine. Miss Moretti is expecting you. Expecting me. Car will arrive in 20 minutes. Click. The call ended. Ava stared at her phone. What just happened? 20 minutes later, a black luxury SUV stopped outside her building. Every neighbor immediately started watching. Mrs. Henderson from apartment 4B nearly dropped her groceries. Ava wanted to disappear. The driver opened the door. Miss Parker. The ride lasted 30 minutes. The entire time Ava felt nervous. She wasn't sure why. Maybe because everything about Isabella Moretti felt like stepping into another world. A world she didn't belong in. Then she saw the mansion. And nearly had a heart attack. The gates alone were larger than her apartment building. The driveway stretched endlessly. Luxury cars lined the entrance. Security guards stood everywhere. Ava stepped out of the SUV. This is a house. The driver smiled. Miss Moretti prefers the term residence. Ava laughed nervously. Of course she does. Inside was even worse. Marble floors. Crystal chandeliers. Paintings worth more than Ava would earn in 10 lifetimes. She suddenly became very aware of her cheap clothes. And worn shoes. A woman in a black suit approached. This way. Ava followed. Every hallway seemed endless. Every room looked like a museum. Finally they stopped. Large wooden doors opened. And there she was. Isabella Moretti. Standing beside a floor-to-ceiling window overlooking Manhattan. The morning sunlight made her look almost unreal. Dangerous. Beautiful. Powerful. Ava hated how quickly her heart reacted. Isabella turned. For a moment her cold expression softened. You're here. Ava nodded. You called. A faint smile appeared. I did. They sat across from each other. Isabella slid a contract across the table. I need a personal assistant. Ava blinked. That's it. What were you expecting? I don't know. Ava hesitated. Something illegal. For the first time Isabella laughed. Actually laughed. The sound surprised both of them. You're honest. You spilled coffee on a billionaire. Honesty is all I have left. That earned another smile. And somehow that felt dangerous. The salary nearly made Ava choke. She read the number 3 times. Then a 4th. This has to be a mistake. It isn't. People don't pay assistants this much. I do. Ava looked suspicious. Why? Isabella's eyes lingered on her. For just a second too long. Because I trust my instincts. Something about that answer felt incomplete. But Ava couldn't afford questions. Not with Lily's medical bills. Not with eviction looming over her head. She signed. The first week felt unreal. Luxury became normal. Expensive meetings. Private events. Business dinners. Ava quickly learned Isabella's reputation wasn't exaggerated. People feared her. Executives feared her. Politicians feared her. Even wealthy investors seemed nervous around her. And yet, when nobody else was watching, Isabella seemed different. Softer. Almost lonely. One evening Ava stayed late. Most employees had already left. The mansion felt unusually quiet. She was organizing documents when she heard voices. Raised voices. Arguing. Ava followed the sound. Carefully. The voices came from behind a locked door. A man's voice. Angry. You're putting everything at risk. Then Isabella. Cold. Dangerous. I made my decision. Over a girl. Silence. Ava froze. A girl. Who? Then Isabella spoke. Every word sharp as glass. Leave. The man clearly knew better than to argue. Seconds later footsteps approached. Ava hurried away. Heart racing. She had no idea why. That night she couldn't sleep. Something felt wrong. The mansion felt different after dark. Too quiet. Too empty. Almost like it was hiding secrets. Around midnight she left her room. Just to get water. Nothing more. Then she noticed a door. Slightly open. She'd never seen it before. Curiosity won. Ava stepped inside. The room was dark. Cold. Filled with monitors. Dozens of them. Maybe hundreds. Every camera feed from the mansion. Every hallway. Every entrance. Every room. Ava stared. What is this place? Then her blood ran cold. One monitor showed her bedroom. Another showed her living room. Another showed the hallway outside her door. Someone had been watching her. The entire time. Ava slowly stepped backward. Fear flooding her chest. Then a voice appeared behind her. Quiet. Dangerous. And very familiar. You weren't supposed to find this room. Ava turned. Isabella stood in the doorway. Her expression unreadable. The warmth Ava had started noticing was completely gone. Only the cold Mafia Queen remained. And for the first time since meeting her, Ava was genuinely afraid. Ava's heart pounded so hard she thought Isabella could hear it. The surveillance room suddenly felt smaller. Colder. More dangerous. The dozens of monitors cast eerie shadows across the walls. And Isabella Moretti stood silently in the doorway. Watching her. Neither woman spoke. For several long seconds. Finally Ava found her voice. Why? Isabella's expression didn't change. Why what? Ava pointed at the screens. Why are there cameras everywhere? Silence. And why am I being watched? The question hung heavily in the air. For the first time since they'd met, Isabella looked uncomfortable. Not guilty. Not ashamed. Just concerned. I can explain. Ava laughed bitterly. I'd love to hear it. Isabella stepped into the room. The cameras aren't about you. Ava crossed her arms. Really? Yes. Then why is my bedroom on that screen? Isabella sighed. Ava. What aren't you telling me? The silence that followed told Ava everything. There was something. Something big. Something dangerous. Finally Isabella looked away. 3 months ago, someone tried to kill me. Ava froze. What? They failed. Isabella spoke casually, as if discussing the weather, as if assassination attempts were normal. Ava stared. You're serious? Very. Who? Several people. That answer somehow made things worse. Ava suddenly realized how little she actually knew about Isabella. The woman in front of her wasn't just a billionaire. She wasn't just a CEO. There was something much darker beneath the surface. Something nobody talked about openly. I've made enemies over the years. Business enemies. Isabella didn't answer immediately, which was answer enough. Ava's stomach tightened. The rumors. The whispers. The bodyguards. The fear people showed around her. Maybe those rumors weren't rumors at all. Ava. Isabella's voice softened. I wasn't watching you because I don't trust you. Then why? Because someone is looking for you. The room went silent. Ava blinked. What? Isabella looked directly into her eyes. Someone has been investigating you. A chill ran through Ava. That's impossible. I wish it was. Isabella walked to one of the monitors. Several photographs appeared. Pictures of Ava. At work. Walking home. Shopping. Even entering her apartment building. Ava felt sick. Who took those? We don't know. We. Again. That word. We. Not I. Not my company. We. As if Isabella belonged to something larger. Something organized. Something dangerous. The next morning Ava couldn't stop thinking about it. Every strange thing suddenly made sense. The security. The guards. The cameras. The secrecy. Someone was watching her. And Isabella knew it. The question was why. 3 days later things became much worse. Ava was leaving a bookstore after work. The street was crowded. Busy. Normal. Then she noticed a black van. Following her. At first she ignored it. Then she turned a corner. The van turned too. Her pulse quickened. She walked faster. The van slowed beside her. The side door opened. A hand grabbed her arm. Ava Parker. Fear exploded through her body. She screamed. The man tried pulling her inside. Another man jumped from the vehicle. Everything happened too fast. Ava fought. Kicked. Struggled. But she wasn't strong enough. The men dragged her closer. One covered her mouth. Then suddenly, crack. A gunshot echoed through the street. Everyone froze, including the attackers. A black SUV slid around the corner. Its doors opened instantly. Armed guards poured out. Professional. Fast. Terrifying. The kidnappers panicked. One ran. Another reached for a weapon. Big mistake. Within seconds the fight was over. The attackers were gone. The guards surrounded Ava, protecting her. Then Isabella stepped from the SUV. Her face was ice. Pure ice. The kind that came before a storm. Ava. For the first time Ava heard fear in Isabella's voice. Genuine fear. Not for herself. For Ava. Without thinking Isabella pulled her into an embrace. Tight. Protective. Almost desperate. Ava froze. So did Isabella. Neither woman expected it. The moment lasted only seconds. Then Isabella stepped back. But the damage was done. Because for one brief moment, Ava had felt how terrified Isabella truly was. Terrified of losing her. Back at the mansion the tension was unbearable. Ava sat in Isabella's office. Neither spoke. Finally Ava broke the silence. Who were they? Isabella stared out the window. I don't know. That's a lie. I have suspicions. Ava stood. No more half-truths. Silence. I'm tired of secrets. Still silence. Tell me the truth. For the first time since they'd met, Isabella looked exhausted. Not powerful. Not dangerous. Just tired. Very tired. Then she said the words Ava had been dreading. The rumors are true. The room went silent. Ava's heart stopped. What rumors? But she already knew. Isabella slowly turned toward her. My family controls the Moretti organization. Ava stared. The organization. Another pause. Then Isabella spoke. 3 words. 3 words that changed everything. The Mafia. Ava couldn't breathe. Every rumor. Every whisper. Every story. True. All true. The woman she'd started trusting. The woman she'd started caring about. Was the most feared crime queen in New York. And suddenly everything made sense. The bodyguards. The surveillance. The enemies. The kidnapping attempt. Everything. Ava. Isabella's voice was quiet. Careful. I never wanted you involved. Ava laughed bitterly. Too late. Neither woman noticed the figure watching from outside the mansion. A woman standing beside a black car. A woman holding an old photograph. A photograph of Ava as a child. The woman smiled. Slowly. Dangerously. Because after years of searching, she had finally found her. And now she planned to take her back. No matter who stood in her way. Even if that meant going to war with Isabella Moretti herself. Ava didn't sleep. Not after Isabella's confession. Not after learning that the woman she'd begun to trust was the head of one of the most feared criminal organizations in New York. The Mafia. The word echoed through her mind all night. Every memory felt different now. Every smile. Every conversation. Every moment. Had any of it been real? Or had she simply been another pawn in Isabella's dangerous world? The next morning Ava packed her bags. She moved quickly. Before she could change her mind. Before Isabella could stop her. She folded her clothes into a suitcase. Grabbed her laptop. And headed for the door. Then she froze. Isabella stood in the hallway. As if she'd known this was coming. Maybe she had. The 2 women stared at each other. Neither spoke. Finally Ava looked away. I'm leaving. Isabella nodded slowly. I know. No arguments. No pleading. Somehow that hurt even more. I can't stay here. I understand. You lied to me. A shadow crossed Isabella's face. I omitted the truth. Ava laughed bitterly. That's your defense? No. Silence filled the hallway. Then Isabella surprised her. For what it's worth. Her voice softened. I'm sorry. And somehow that made everything worse. Because Ava believed her. An hour later Ava was gone. Back in her small apartment. Back to her old life. At least she thought she was. Because someone was waiting outside. A woman. Tall. Elegant. Dressed entirely in white. She looked almost like Isabella's opposite. Warm where Isabella was cold. Soft where Isabella was sharp. Yet something about her felt dangerous. Very dangerous. The woman smiled. Ava Parker. Ava stopped walking. Do I know you? The woman's smile widened. No. She stepped closer. But I've known you for a very long time. A chill ran down Ava's spine. The woman extended a hand. My name is Victoria Kane. The name meant nothing to Ava. But something about it felt familiar. As if she'd heard it somewhere before. Somewhere she couldn't remember. I think you've mistaken me for someone else. Victoria's smile disappeared. No. She reached into her purse. And pulled out a photograph. A very old photograph. A little girl. Around 6 years old. standing beside a man and woman. A happy family. Ava stared. Her blood turned cold. Because the little girl was her. Her knees nearly gave out. Where did you get this? Victoria's expression softened. The first genuine emotion Ava had seen. I've been searching for you for 3 years. Ava couldn't breathe. The photograph trembled in her hands. The family in the picture looked familiar. Too familiar. Like fragments of a forgotten dream. Who are they? Victoria hesitated. Then spoke quietly. Your family. The world stopped. Ava stared. No. It's true. No. Victoria's eyes filled with sadness. You were taken when you were 6. Ava backed away. Stop. You deserve the truth. I said stop. People on the street turned to stare. But Ava didn't care. Nothing made sense. Nothing. Victoria slowly pulled out another document. A birth certificate. Old records. Newspaper clippings. Photographs. Years of evidence. Enough evidence to make Ava question everything she believed about herself. Then Victoria delivered the final blow. The people who raised you. She paused. They weren't your biological parents. Ava felt sick. Every childhood memory suddenly became uncertain. Every story she'd been told. Every explanation. Every answer. A lie. No. Victoria stepped forward. They loved you. Ava's eyes widened. What? They truly loved you. The words caught her off guard. Victoria wasn't trying to erase Ava's past. She wasn't attacking her adoptive family. If anything, she sounded grateful. They protected you. From what? Victoria's face darkened. From the people who murdered your father. Ava's heart stopped. The street disappeared. The noise vanished. Everything narrowed to those words. Murdered. Victoria nodded. He was killed 20 years ago. Ava shook her head. No. Yes. Who? For the first time, Victoria looked angry. Truly angry. Her eyes hardened. Her voice became ice. And then she said a name. A name Ava already knew. A name that shattered her world. Isabella Moretti. The silence that followed felt endless. Ava stared at her. Unable to speak. Unable to think. Unable to breathe. No. Victoria nodded. She killed him. Ava's mind rejected it instantly. It had to be a lie. It had to be. Yet doubt had already taken root. Because Isabella had lied before. She had hidden things. Important things. Dangerous things. How could Ava know where the lies ended? That night Ava sat alone. Photographs spread across her table. Documents. Records. Evidence. Every piece pointing toward one impossible conclusion. Then her phone rang. One name appeared on the screen. Isabella. Ava stared. The phone continued ringing. Once. Twice. 3 times. Finally she answered. Neither woman spoke. For several seconds. Then Isabella's voice came through. Quiet. Concerned. Ava. Ava swallowed. Did you kill my father? Silence. A terrible silence. Long enough to make her heart sink. Then suddenly. Boom. An explosion shook the line. Gunshots erupted in the background. Men shouting. Screaming. Chaos. Isabella. Another explosion. More gunfire. Then Isabella spoke. Only 4 words. Ava, run right. The call disconnected. Across the city. The Moretti mansion burned. Armed men flooded through the gates. Bullets shattered windows. Security teams fought desperately. And standing at the center of it all was Victoria Kane. Watching. Smiling. Because the war she'd spent 20 years preparing for had finally begun. And before the night ended, Ava Parker would discover a truth even more shocking than Isabella's secrets. A truth that would change everything she thought she knew about herself. Ava didn't remember driving. One moment she was standing in her apartment, staring at her phone. The next she was racing through Manhattan toward the burning Moretti mansion. Every traffic light felt too slow. Every second felt too long. Her mind was a battlefield. Victoria's accusations. Isabella's silence. The explosion. The gunfire. Nothing made sense. But one thing was clear. Isabella was in danger. And despite everything, Ava couldn't ignore that. By the time she arrived, chaos had consumed the estate. Flames climbed into the night sky. Police sirens echoed in the distance. Smoke covered everything. The front gates had been destroyed. Several luxury cars burned near the entrance. Men in black suits ran everywhere. Some injured. Some armed. All terrified. Ava jumped out of her car. Isabella. No answer. She ran forward. Someone grabbed her arm. A bodyguard. One of Isabella's bodyguards. His face was covered in blood. Miss Parker. Where is she? The man hesitated. And that hesitation terrified her. Inside the mansion the destruction was even worse. Broken glass. Bullet holes. Collapsed walls. The elegant home looked like a war zone. Ava followed the bodyguard through the wreckage. Finally they reached Isabella's office. The door hung from a single hinge. Furniture was overturned. The giant windows had shattered. And standing beside the desk was Isabella. Alive. Relief hit Ava so hard she nearly cried. For a moment neither woman moved. Neither spoke. Then Isabella walked toward her. Slowly. Carefully. As if afraid Ava might disappear. Ava. Her voice was softer than usual. Ava swallowed. She still had questions. Still had doubts. Still didn't know what to believe. But seeing Isabella alive made one thing painfully obvious. She cared. Far more than she wanted to admit. The bodyguards quietly left, leaving them alone. The silence became unbearable. Finally Ava spoke. Victoria said you killed my father. The words hung between them. Isabella's expression darkened. I didn't. Ava searched her face, looking for deception, looking for lies. But all she found was exhaustion. And something else. Pain. Then why didn't you answer when I asked? Isabella looked away. Because your father died because of my family. Ava froze. What? Isabella walked toward the broken window. The city lights reflected in her eyes. 20 years ago there was a war. Ava remained silent. My father was involved. Another pause. And so was yours. The room suddenly felt colder. What happened? Isabella's jaw tightened. Greed. Hatred. Power. She laughed bitterly. The usual reasons people destroy each other. Ava listened carefully. For the first time. No secrets. No half-truths. Just honesty. Then Isabella surprised her. I've wanted to tell you for months. Ava blinked. Months. The answer made her stomach drop. Months. How long had Isabella known about her? And more importantly, why had she approached her in that cafe? Almost as if reading her mind, Isabella turned. There was guilt in her eyes. Real guilt. The kind that couldn't be faked. Ava. Her voice was barely above a whisper. There is something else. Ava suddenly didn't want to hear it. But it was too late. Isabella opened a drawer, removed a photograph, and handed it over. Ava looked down, then froze. The woman in the picture looked exactly like her. Not similar. Not close. Exactly. The same green eyes. The same smile. The same hair. The same face. Ava felt the room spin. Who is she? Isabella didn't answer immediately. When she finally spoke, her voice broke. Sophia. For the first time since they'd met, the cold Mafia Queen looked vulnerable. Truly vulnerable. As if the memory hurt deeply. Ava stared at the photograph. The woman looked happy, standing beside a younger Isabella. Both smiling, both in love. The realization hit instantly. Sophia wasn't just someone from Isabella's past. She was the love of her life. What happened to her? Isabella closed her eyes. She disappeared. The answer felt incomplete, but the sadness behind it felt real. 10 years ago. Ava looked back at the picture, then at Isabella, then back at the picture. A terrible realization formed. Slowly, painfully. That's why you approached me. Silence. Isabella said nothing. Ava laughed bitterly. The sound cracked. That's why. Still silence. Every unanswered question suddenly had an answer. The cafe. The job offer. The attention. The protectiveness. Everything. You thought I was her. Ava. You hired me because I look like her. Ava. You watched me because I look like her. The words became harder to say. Each one hurt more than the last. The realization cut deeper than any lie. Because for a brief moment, Ava had believed Isabella cared about her. Not Sophia. Not a memory. Her. Finally Isabella spoke. Quietly. Honestly. At first. The words barely escaped. Yes. Ava felt her heart break. There it was. The truth. The truth she'd been afraid of. The room became silent. Ava stared at the photograph, then slowly handed it back. Every emotion battled inside her. Anger. Sadness. Confusion. Heartbreak. But beneath all of it, one question remained. At first, Isabella looked up. For the first time that night their eyes met. And Ava saw something terrifying. Not fear. Not guilt. Love. Real love. Isabella took a step forward. Then another. Ava. Her voice trembled. The most feared woman in New York was trembling. Because of her. At first I thought you were just someone who looked like Sophia. Ava remained silent. But then you laughed. Another step. You argued with me. Another step. You challenged me. Closer. And somehow. Her voice cracked. You became the first person who made me stop thinking about her. Ava's breath caught. The confession felt too honest. Too raw. Too real. I don't see Sophia when I look at you anymore. The room seemed to disappear. Only Isabella remained. Standing there. Exposed. Vulnerable. Terrified. Then suddenly. Bang! A gunshot shattered the moment. The office window exploded. Glass flew everywhere. Ava screamed. Isabella reacted instantly. She grabbed Ava and pulled her to the floor. More shots followed. Another window shattered. Then another. Chaos erupted. Bodyguards rushed into the room. Weapons drawn. Shouting. Running. Panic. The attack wasn't over. It had only just begun. And somewhere outside the mansion, Victoria Kane smiled. Because phase 2 of her plan was finally beginning. And this time, she wasn't coming for Isabella. She was coming for Ava. The gunfire wouldn't stop. Glass shattered across Isabella's office. Bodyguards rushed forward. Weapons drawn. The room erupted into chaos. But Isabella only cared about one thing. Ava. She pulled Ava behind the overturned desk, covering her with her own body. Ava, stay down. Another bullet tore through the wall. Ava stared at her. Even now. Even in danger. Isabella's first instinct was to protect her. Outside the mansion, the attack intensified. Explosions echoed through the grounds. Several guards shouted over their radios. East perimeter breached. Second team down. They're inside. The attackers weren't random criminals. They were professionals. Highly trained. Organized. And they were all working for one person. Victoria Kane. Meanwhile, across the city, Victoria sat calmly inside a penthouse, watching live footage of the attack. A glass of wine rested in her hand. A smile touched her lips. How predictable. One of her men stepped forward. Should we proceed with phase 2? Victoria's smile widened. Yes. Her eyes drifted toward a photograph. A childhood photograph. Of Ava. Bring my sister home. Back at the mansion, the shooting suddenly stopped. An eerie silence followed. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Then Isabella's phone rang. The room froze. She answered immediately. Moretti. Victoria's voice filled the speaker. Smooth. Elegant. Dangerous. Good evening, Isabella. Every bodyguard immediately looked tense. What do you want? Victoria laughed softly. You know exactly what I want. Isabella's jaw tightened. No. Then I'll take her myself. The line disconnected. Immediately afterward, the mansion lights died. Darkness swallowed everything. Someone screamed. Then chaos returned. Smoke grenades exploded throughout the mansion. Visibility disappeared. Bodyguards fired blindly. People shouted directions. The entire building became a battlefield. Ava couldn't see anything. Couldn't think. Couldn't breathe. Then suddenly, a hand grabbed her. Hard. Very hard. She tried to scream. A cloth covered her mouth. Everything happened too fast. She struggled. Kicked. Fought. But the attackers were prepared. The last thing Ava saw was Isabella running toward her through the smoke. Their eyes met. For one brief second. Then darkness consumed everything. When Ava woke up, she was somewhere unfamiliar. A luxurious room. Large windows. Expensive furniture. No bars. No chains. No guards visible. Which somehow felt more frightening. She slowly sat up. Good. A voice came from across the room. Ava froze. Victoria Kane. Victoria sat calmly in a chair. As if nothing unusual had happened. As if kidnapping people was normal. Where am I? Safe. Ava laughed bitterly. You kidnapped me. Victoria shrugged. I rescued you. From who? Victoria's eyes darkened. From Isabella. Ava stood immediately. I'm leaving. Victoria didn't move. Didn't react. Didn't stop her. Instead she simply spoke. You can't. Ava paused. Why? Victoria opened a folder and slid several documents across the table. DNA reports. Medical records. Birth certificates. Photographs. Years of evidence. Read them. Ava didn't want to, but curiosity won. She opened the first document, then the second, then the third. With every page her heart beat faster. The evidence was overwhelming. Impossible to deny. Impossible to explain away. Finally Ava looked up. No. Victoria's eyes softened. Yes. Ava's hands trembled. This can't be real. It is. No. Victoria slowly stood. For the first time there was genuine emotion in her eyes. Not manipulation. Not anger. Pain. Years of pain. Then she whispered. I'm your sister. The world stopped. Everything disappeared. The room. The city. The war. Everything. Ava simply stared. Unable to process the words. My sister. Victoria nodded. Tears filled her eyes. I searched for 20 years. Ava backed away. No. I never stopped looking. No. I thought you were dead. Victoria opened another folder. Childhood photographs spilled across the table. 2 little girls. Playing together. Laughing together. Growing up together. Until suddenly, the pictures stopped. The younger sister vanished. Ava. Victoria looked away. The night our father died. Her voice broke. You disappeared. Silence filled the room. I failed to protect you. Ava didn't know what to say. Didn't know what to feel. Because part of her wanted to believe it. And part of her was terrified too. Across Manhattan, Isabella Moretti was destroying her office. A desk shattered against the wall. A vase exploded. Nobody dared speak. Nobody dared move. The most feared woman in New York looked furious, terrified, and heartbroken. All at once. Find her. The room remained silent. Now. Every bodyguard immediately scattered. No one wanted to witness Isabella like this. Because everyone knew. This wasn't about business anymore. This wasn't about power. This wasn't about war. It was personal. Very personal. Hours later Isabella stood alone. Looking at a photograph. Ava's photograph. The same one she'd carried for months. The same one she'd secretly stared at every night. And for the first time in years, the Mafia Queen admitted the truth to herself. She loved her. Completely. Irreversibly. Dangerously. Meanwhile, Victoria led Ava toward a hidden room. Large steel doors opened. Inside were old files. Newspaper articles. Photographs. Evidence. Enough evidence to fill an entire library. Ava stared. What is this? Victoria's expression hardened. The truth. She handed Ava a final file. The oldest file in the room. The one Victoria had spent 20 years building. Ava opened it. And immediately went pale. Because on the very first page was Isabella Moretti's father. Standing beside Ava's father. Just days before his murder. And beneath the photograph were 6 words that changed everything. The man who ordered the killing. Ava's hands began to shake. Because if the file was real, then Isabella had been telling the truth. She hadn't killed Ava's father. Someone else had. Someone far more dangerous. And someone who was still alive. Ava couldn't stop staring at the file. Her hands trembled. The photograph on the first page showed 2 men standing together. One was her father. The other was Antonio Moretti, Isabella's father. The man Victoria claimed had ordered the murder. But something felt wrong. Very wrong. Because as Ava continued reading, the story didn't make sense. Dates didn't match. Witness statements contradicted each other. Entire sections appeared incomplete. Almost as if someone had edited the truth. Victoria watched carefully. Too carefully. What do you think? Ava looked up. You said Isabella was responsible. Victoria's expression didn't change. She is. But this file says her father was involved. Same difference. Ava frowned. No. It wasn't the same difference. Not even close. For the first time, doubt began creeping into her mind. That night Ava couldn't sleep. The penthouse felt beautiful. Luxurious. And strangely suffocating. Every hallway had guards. Every door required security codes. Victoria called it protection. Ava called it imprisonment. The more she thought about it, the less she trusted anything. Around midnight she left her room. The penthouse was silent. Most of the guards were gone. Or so she thought. As she walked past Victoria's office, she heard voices. She stopped. The door wasn't fully closed. Someone was inside. arguing. "I don't care what it takes." Victoria's voice. Cold. Dangerous. Nothing like the caring sister she'd shown Ava. A second voice responded. A man's voice. "She's starting to ask questions." Victoria laughed. "Then make sure she gets the answers I want her to have." Ava froze. "The answers I want her to have. Not the truth. The answers." Her heart sank. Suddenly every conversation replayed in her head. Every document. Every photograph. Every accusation against Isabella. Had any of it been real? Or had Victoria been manipulating her from the beginning? Then Victoria spoke again. And what she said next changed everything. "Once Ava hates Isabella completely." She paused. A cruel smile entered her voice. "We won't need her anymore." Ava nearly gasped. She covered her mouth instantly. Fear flooded her chest. Victoria wasn't trying to reunite a family. She was using her. The entire time. She quietly backed away. Step by step. Until she reached her room. Then she locked the door. For the first time since arriving. She felt truly afraid. Not of Isabella. Of Victoria. Across the city. Isabella Moretti stood inside an abandoned warehouse. Rain hammered the metal roof. Her most trusted people surrounded her. Maps covered the walls. Photos covered the tables. Every resource of the Moretti organization was focused on one objective. Finding Ava. One bodyguard approached. "We located one of Victoria's safe houses. Search it." Already empty. Another bodyguard stepped forward. "We found one of her financial operations. Destroy it." The room fell silent. Everyone could see it. Isabella wasn't acting like a businesswoman. Or a mafia queen. She was acting like a woman desperate to save someone she loved. Finally an older advisor spoke. "Isabella." She looked up. The man hesitated. Then asked the question nobody wanted to ask. "What if Ava chooses Victoria?" Silence. The room became deadly quiet. For several long seconds Isabella didn't answer. Then she quietly picked up a photograph. Ava's photograph. The one she always carried. The one nobody was supposed to know about. And for the first time, the cold queen allowed herself to be vulnerable. "If she's safe." Her voice cracked slightly. "I'll accept it." The room froze. Because everyone understood what she'd just said. She loved Ava enough to let her go. Meanwhile, Ava had made a decision. She needed answers. Real answers. Not Victoria's version. Not Isabella's version. The truth. The next morning she began searching Victoria's private office. Carefully. Quietly. Every drawer. Every cabinet. Every hidden compartment. Hours passed. Then she found something. A locked safe. It took nearly 30 minutes. But eventually she opened it. Inside were dozens of files. Old documents. Photographs. And one folder labeled Sophia. Ava froze. Sophia. The woman who looked exactly like her. The woman Isabella once loved. Why would Victoria have files about her? Slowly Ava opened the folder. Then her blood ran cold. Because Sophia hadn't simply disappeared. She had been investigating something. Someone. Victoria. Page after page revealed secret meetings. Financial records. Witness reports. Evidence. Sophia had discovered corruption inside Victoria's organization years ago. And days later, she vanished. Ava turned another page. Then another. Then another. Until she reached the final report. The unfinished report. The one Sophia never completed. At the bottom were 7 handwritten words. Victoria knows who killed Ava's father. Ava's hands began shaking. This wasn't a coincidence. It couldn't be. Sophia had been searching for the same answers. And then she'd disappeared. Suddenly the office door opened. Ava looked up. Victoria stood there, silent, watching her. The folder lay open on the desk, exposed. For several seconds neither woman moved. Then Victoria sighed. Slowly, disappointed. I was hoping you wouldn't find that. Ava stood immediately. What happened to Sophia? The warmth vanished from Victoria's face. Completely. For the first time. The mask fell. The woman standing before Ava wasn't a loving sister. Wasn't a victim. Wasn't a hero. She was something much darker. Something dangerous. And the smile she gave next terrified Ava. Because it contained no warmth at all. Only menace. Only calculation. Only cruelty. Then Victoria spoke. And the words made Ava's blood run cold. She asked too many questions. Victoria's smile sent chills through Ava's body. It wasn't the smile of a loving sister. It wasn't even the smile of a rival. It was the smile of someone who had been lying for a very long time. And no longer cared if the truth came out. The office felt suffocating. Ava slowly stepped backward. The folder containing Sophia's investigation remained open on the desk. Victoria glanced at it. Then laughed softly. You really are like her. Ava's stomach tightened. What happened to Sophia? Victoria didn't answer immediately. Instead she walked toward the window. Looking out at the city. The same city she had spent years trying to control. Sophia was smart. Ava remained silent. Too smart. Victoria's expression darkened. She started asking questions. The same answer. The same cold response. But this time Ava refused to back down. What happened to her? Victoria finally turned. And the answer she gave made Ava's blood run cold. She discovered the truth. Ava felt her pulse quicken. What truth? Victoria smiled. The truth about your father. The room became silent. For 20 years Ava had searched for answers. Now she was finally standing in front of someone who knew everything. And somehow, that terrified her. Victoria walked toward the desk. Slowly, calmly. As a child, you were never supposed to survive. Ava froze. What? Victoria's eyes remained emotionless. The attack wasn't meant to kill only your father. The realization hit instantly. No. Yes. Ava's hands trembled. Who ordered it? For a moment Victoria simply stared at her. Then she laughed. A cruel laugh. A dangerous laugh. And Ava suddenly knew. Before Victoria even spoke. She knew. It was me. The world stopped. Everything disappeared. Every sound. Every thought. Every breath. Gone. Ava stared at her. Unable to process the words. No. Victoria smiled. I was young. No. I wanted power. No. Victoria's smile widened. The same thing everyone wants. Tears filled Ava's eyes. Everything. Everything had been a lie. The stories. The evidence. The accusations against Isabella. All of it. Manufactured. Manipulated. Designed to create hatred. Designed to create war. Designed to destroy Isabella. You murdered our father. Victoria's expression hardened. He was weak. Ava felt sick. He would have given everything away. He was your father. Victoria slammed her hand against the desk. And he would have ruined everything. The mask was gone. Completely gone. The caring sister had never existed. Only this. Only ambition. Only obsession. Only cruelty. Then Ava realized something else. Something even worse. What about Sophia? Victoria's smile returned. And somehow it was worse than before. Sophia discovered the truth. The answer came quietly, almost casually. She found evidence linking me to the murder. Ava couldn't breathe. What did you do? Victoria looked away. For the first time, a hint of regret appeared. Just a hint. I offered her a choice. Silence. Leave. Another silence. Or disappear. Ava's heart shattered. What happened? Victoria smiled sadly. She chose neither. The answer was enough. Victoria didn't need to say more. Ava understood. Sophia had never simply vanished. Victoria had removed her, just like she'd removed everyone else who threatened her power. Suddenly alarms erupted throughout the penthouse. Victoria frowned. One of her guards rushed inside. Panicked. Victoria turned. What? The guard looked terrified. The Morettis found us. For one brief second, Victoria actually looked shocked. Then the windows exploded. Glass flew everywhere. The room erupted into chaos. Outside, black vehicles surrounded the building. Dozens of them. Moretti soldiers flooded the streets. Armed. Prepared. Relentless. And standing at the center of it all was Isabella Moretti. She stepped from her vehicle, wearing black, rain falling around her, looking less like a businesswoman, and more like a queen preparing for war. Inside the penthouse, Victoria grabbed Ava's arm. We're leaving. Ava pulled away. No. Victoria's eyes narrowed. Ava. No. The word echoed through the room. For the first time, Ava wasn't afraid. Not anymore. You lied to me. Victoria stepped forward. I did it for us. You murdered our father. Silence. You framed Isabella. Silence. You destroyed Sophia's life. Silence. Every silence was a confession. Every silence another piece of guilt. And Ava finally understood. Victoria had never wanted family. She wanted control. And Ava was simply another piece on the board. Then the office door exploded inward. Smoke filled the room. Guards rushed in. Weapons raised. And behind them appeared Isabella. For a moment time stopped. Neither woman moved. Neither spoke. They simply stared at each other. Months of pain, fear, love, regret, all contained within a single look. Ava. The way Isabella said her name made her heart ache. Not because it was dramatic. Not because it was romantic. Because it was relieved. Pure relief. Victoria laughed. You came all this way for her. Isabella never looked away from Ava. Yes. One word. No hesitation. No shame. Just truth. Victoria shook her head. A Mafia Queen risking everything for love. Finally Isabella looked at her. And her expression became ice. The same expression that had made entire organizations fear her. This ends tonight. Victoria smiled. We'll see. Then she pressed a hidden button beneath the desk. The floor suddenly shook. Explosions echoed from below. Emergency systems activated. The building entered lockdown. Victoria stepped backward toward a hidden exit. Still smiling. Still confident. Still believing she could win. But before disappearing she looked directly at Ava. And delivered one final revelation. A revelation so shocking it left both Ava and Isabella speechless. You want to know what happened to Sophia? Victoria smiled. Then whispered. She's still alive. And disappeared. The words echoed in Ava's mind long after Victoria disappeared. She's still alive. Sophia. Alive. The woman Isabella had mourned for 10 years. The woman whose disappearance had changed everything. The woman who looked so much like Ava. Could Victoria be lying again? Or was this finally the truth? The lockdown alarms continued screaming. Red emergency lights flashed throughout the penthouse. Guards rushed through hallways. Orders echoed everywhere. Chaos had taken over the building. But neither Ava nor Isabella moved. Both were still frozen by Victoria's revelation. Finally Ava spoke. "You knew." Isabella slowly shook her head. For the first time. The Mafia Queen looked completely stunned. "No." Her voice barely came out. "No." Ava had never seen her like this. Never. Not when she was attacked. Not during the war. Not even when Ava disappeared. This was different. This was hope. And fear. Mixed together. Then Isabella snapped back to reality. "We have to move." The floor trembled again. Another explosion. The building wouldn't hold much longer. Bodyguards quickly surrounded them. They escaped through emergency stairwells. Floor after floor. Smoke filled the air. People shouted. Gunfire echoed in the distance. Victoria's forces were trying to slow them down. But Isabella kept moving. Always staying close to Ava. Always making sure she was safe. Outside, the city had become a battlefield. Victoria knew her empire was collapsing. And dangerous people became even more dangerous when they had nothing left to lose. Back at Moretti headquarters, dozens of analysts searched every file Victoria had ever touched. Every account. Every property. Every hidden location. Anything that might reveal Sophia's whereabouts. Hours passed. Then suddenly, we found something. The room froze. A technician projected a map onto the wall. One location flashed red. An old estate outside the city. Abandoned for years. At least officially. But recent security records suggested otherwise. That's where she is. The room fell silent. Nobody needed clarification. Everyone understood. Sophia. Isabella stared at the location. Her hands tightened into fists. For 10 years she had believed Sophia was gone forever. And now, there was a chance. A real chance. Ava watched her carefully. And for the first time, she didn't feel jealous. She didn't feel replaced. Because she finally understood something. Sophia was Isabella's past. But Ava was her future. The rescue operation began immediately. Armored vehicles. Helicopters. Moretti soldiers. Every available resource moved toward the estate. Because Victoria wasn't going to surrender peacefully. The old estate looked more like a fortress than a home. High walls. Armed guards. Surveillance towers. Everything about it screamed paranoia. Victoria had been preparing for this day for years. As Isabella's convoy approached, the first explosions erupted. Missiles destroyed the lead vehicle. Gunfire exploded from every direction. The final battle had begun. For over an hour the fighting continued. The largest conflict either organization had ever faced. Victoria's empire versus Isabella's empire. Years of hatred finally reaching its conclusion. Inside the estate, Ava and Isabella pushed forward with a small team. Room after room. Hallway after hallway. Searching. Always searching. Then they found her. A reinforced steel door. Locked from the outside. Protected by multiple security systems. Isabella's hands shook as she entered the code taken from Victoria's files. The door slowly opened. Inside sat a woman. Reading. Quietly. As if she had been expecting them. Ava immediately recognized her. Not from photographs. Not from stories. Because she looked exactly like the pictures. Just older. Sophia. The room became silent. For several seconds nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Then Sophia slowly stood. Her book fell to the floor. Tears filled her eyes. And she whispered one name. Isabella. The strongest woman in New York suddenly looked fragile. Human. Heartbroken. Hopeful. All at once, the two women embraced, and 10 years of pain disappeared in a single moment. Ava quietly looked away, giving them privacy, giving them closure. But the reunion didn't last long, because suddenly, boom, the building shook violently. A guard burst into the room. Victoria is escaping. Everyone moved immediately. They raced through collapsing hallways, through smoke and debris, toward the estate's underground tunnels. Finally they found her. Victoria stood beside a helicopter. Several armed guards surrounded her. Yet she wasn't smiling anymore. For the first time, she looked defeated. Her empire was gone. Her lies exposed. Her secrets destroyed. Everything she'd built was collapsing. Then her eyes landed on Ava. And for a brief moment, the mask disappeared. The ambitious crime queen vanished, leaving only a lonely woman behind. A woman who had sacrificed everything for power, and lost everything because of it. I did love you. She spoke directly to Ava. The words sounded genuine, which somehow made them even sadder. Ava's eyes filled with tears. I know. Victoria smiled weakly, then looked toward Isabella, the woman she'd hated for 20 years. We were both fools. Then she reached for a hidden detonator. Everything happened instantly. Guards shouted. Weapons raised. People screamed. Victoria intended to destroy the entire estate. Everyone inside it, including herself. Without hesitation, Isabella moved. She shoved Ava out of the way. A gunshot rang out. Then another. The detonator fell from Victoria's hand. She collapsed. But so did Isabella. For one terrible second, nobody understood what had happened. Then Ava saw the blood. A sniper hidden in the hills had fired. The bullet meant for her had struck Isabella instead. The world stopped. Isabella! Ava ran toward her, fell beside her, held her tightly. Blood stained her hands. Too much blood. Far too much. Isabella looked up weakly. A faint smile appeared. Ava! Don't talk. You'll be okay. But Ava's voice broke, because she wasn't sure it was true. Around them, Victoria's empire finally collapsed. The war was over. The city was free. The fighting had ended. Yet none of it mattered. Not anymore. Because the woman Ava loved was dying in her arms. And for the first time, the cold Mafia Queen looked afraid. The ambulance siren screamed through the night. Ava sat beside Isabella, holding her hand, refusing to let go. Blood stained her clothes, her hands, her heart, everything. Stay with me. Ava's voice trembled. Doctors worked frantically. Machines beeped. People shouted instructions. But Ava only saw Isabella. The woman who had terrified half of New York. The woman who had built an empire. The woman who always looked invincible, now looked fragile, human, and heartbreakingly vulnerable. Isabella's eyes opened slightly. She looked toward Ava. A weak smile appeared. Even now, even like this, she was trying to comfort her. You look terrible. Ava immediately burst into tears. A laugh escaped her at the same time. You got shot. And you're criticizing my appearance. Isabella's smile widened. Barely. Then her eyes closed again. The doctors rushed her away. And Ava was left standing alone. The next 12 hours were the longest of her life. Hospitals had a strange way of slowing time. Every minute felt like an hour. Every hour felt like a day. Sophia sat beside her. Quietly. The two women had barely spoken. Not because they disliked each other, but because neither knew what to say. Finally Sophia broke the silence. She loves you. Ava looked up. Sophia smiled softly. The resemblance between them was still unsettling, yet somehow comforting. You don't seem surprised." Sophia laughed. "Surprised?" She shook her head. "Ava, I've known Isabella longer than anyone." Sophia looked toward the operating room, then back at Ava. "The first time she talked about you." Ava blinked. "The first time?" Sophia nodded. She wouldn't stop. Despite everything happening, Ava felt herself smile. "That's impossible." Sophia laughed. "I thought so too." Then her smile softened. "At first I was jealous." The honesty surprised Ava. "But then I saw the way she looked at you." A pause. "And I realized something." "What?" Sophia's eyes became warm. "She never looked at me that way." Ava froze. For years Isabella had believed Sophia was the love of her life. For years she had chased that memory, protected it, mourned it. Yet Sophia seemed strangely certain. The woman she loved wasn't me anymore. Sophia smiled gently. "It was you." Ava felt tears form again. Hours later, a doctor finally appeared. Ava stood so quickly her chair nearly fell over. The doctor smiled. "She's going to survive." Everything stopped. Then relief hit. Powerful. Overwhelming. Beautiful. For the first time in days, Ava could breathe. 3 months later, the city looked different. Peaceful. Victoria's empire was gone. Completely dismantled. The criminal networks had collapsed. Illegal operations were exposed. Corrupt officials arrested. Years of darkness finally ending. And Isabella Moretti made a decision nobody expected. She stepped away. From the empire. From the power. From the life she had inherited. People called her crazy. Maybe she was. But after nearly losing everything, her priorities had changed. Because there was one thing she wanted more than power. More than influence. More than control. Ava. One rainy evening, Ava stood inside a small cafe. Her cafe. The dream she'd always wanted. The dream she never thought possible. Customers laughed. Coffee brewed. Music played softly. And then the door opened. The bell rang. Ava looked up. And froze. Because standing there, covered by rain, holding a small black umbrella, wearing a familiar smile, was Isabella. For a moment neither moved. The memory hit instantly. A rainy day. A coffee spill. A chance encounter. The beginning of everything. Slowly Isabella approached the counter. "You still make terrible coffee." Ava laughed. "You survived getting shot. And that's your question." The old chemistry returned immediately. Natural. Effortless. Perfect. Then Isabella surprised her. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Ava's breath caught. "No." The smile on Isabella's face became nervous. Something Ava had never seen before. The feared Mafia Queen. Nervous. Because this mattered more than anything. Slowly, she got down on one knee. The entire cafe went silent. Every customer stared. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Then Isabella looked up. Straight into Ava's eyes. "I spent years trying to control a city." A pause. "I spent years chasing revenge." Another pause. "And years running from my past." Her voice softened. "But the happiest moments of my life." A small smile appeared. "Were always with you." Ava's eyes filled with tears. "I don't care where we live. I don't care what happens next. I don't care about anything except this." Then Isabella opened the box. Inside was a ring. Simple. Elegant. Beautiful. Just like the woman holding it. Ava Parker. The entire cafe held its breath. "Will you marry me?" Tears rolled down Ava's cheeks. She laughed. Cried. And then nodded. Yes. The room erupted into applause. Laughter. Cheers. Happy tears. But Ava barely heard any of it. Because Isabella stood, wrapped her arms around her, and finally kissed her. Not as a mafia queen. Not as a billionaire. Not as the most feared woman in New York. Just as Isabella. The woman who loved her. Outside, rain continued falling against the cafe windows. Just like the night they met. And for the first time in a very long time, both women finally had what they wanted. Not power. Not revenge. Not control. Each other.